Hi, today we will learn interference of waves, interference of light wave. So we have two kind of waves, mechanical and non-mechanical. In mechanical category, in elastic category you have water wave, wave on strain and sound wave. Whereas in inelastic category, in non-mechanical category, we have electromagnetic radiations. Now all these waves undergo interference. And to visualize interference, we need to see wave pattern form on the surface of water. Now when a pebble is thrown on the surface of water, a disturbance is created in the form of concentric rings. With center of the ring is at the point of disturbance, and these rings move away from this center with uniform velocity. So this is one thing. And another thing is that all the particles on a particular your circle, on this particle, on this circle you can see all the particles are above the position of zero disturbance. Initially you had a stationary surface, a plane surface, and when disturbance reached over there, some circles raised up from this zero disturbance point and they form maxima and they form crest. Whereas some circles go down from the zero disturbance position and they form minima and they form trough on the surface of water. So you will find that alternate crest and alternate troughs, alternate maxima and alternate minima is formed in the case of water wave. So this is the observation of interference pattern on water wave, and you will find that such kind of interference is taken place in all kind of waves. In light wave, if you could get the proper source, you can obtain such kind of maxima and minima. You will have alternate maxima and minima. This bright light is showing you maxima and the dark light is showing you the minima. So this is the observation we observed. Now study of this interference pattern. Your interference pattern is based on the principle of superposition, which says that if a particle in the medium, here we had medium, water medium, if a particle in the medium is acted upon by two or more waves, two or more disturbances, and then it will undergo displacement from mean position. Here you can see there is stationary position of water surface and this particle has been displaced. So if a particle is displaced from its mean position due to two or more disturbances, then this displacement, it will be equal to vector sum of all the displacements due to this individual disturbances. I mean to say that if one disturbance at a time is causing a displacement of x1, the other disturbance is causing a displacement of x2, and similarly third disturbance, third wave is causing a displacement of x3, then if all the disturbances occur at the particle at the same time, then they will cause a displacement which will be equal to vector sum of all the individual displacements. So this is your principle of superposition. And when two or more waves propagating along one direction and they superimpose, then they will create a interference pattern which will be consisting of maxima and then alternate minima, and this is called interference. This phenomenon is called interference and the pattern formed is called interference pattern. So interference cannot take place by any of the two sources. We need to have a coherent source. What is coherent source? Coherent sources are those sources which emit light or any wave with phase difference constant in time. Suppose they have initial phase difference pi by 2. So in time also they should have phase difference pi by 2. This phase difference should not change. If they have initial phase difference 0, so in time, in any further time, the phase difference should remain 0, then such sources of waves are called coherent sources. Now interference can take place only due to waves coming from coherent sources. Light generally do not interfere because light comes from atoms. In an element, in a small part, you have millions of atoms and they are emitting light waves. Now they are separate entity. They will emit light with different phase angles, and this phase angle will also change in time. So generally you have light waves from general source of light that do not interfere. But if light can be obtained from a coherent source, these may also interfere. So all these we have to learn in this chapter. Now you can see interference of light. Okay, this is your interference of water wave or interference of any mechanical wave. You have two needles, you can see, doing up and down in a simple harmonic fashion with the same force. Force is same for the two needles. Now if force is same and if you apply any force on any, assume that on any tabla skin, then it is displaced to some distance, and this maximum distance displacement is called amplitude. So since this particle is doing simple harmonic motion, so the wave generated will be of simple harmonic kind. So if you take a wave which is created by one particle, y is equal to a cos omega t, here this term is called amplitude. So maximum displacement from mean position, that is called amplitude. And since the forces are same in the two cases, they are doing to and fro motion, simple harmonic motion by the same force, so they will have same maximum displacement, means same amplitude. So amplitude is same. Now let us consider the phase angle. It consists of two parts, omega and t. Are they same? Let us find out this. Now if the needles are doing to and fro motion, simple harmonic motion in similar fashion with their time period constant, they execute one complete cycle in the same time period t, then we know that angular velocity omega is equal to angle per unit time. And in one oscillation, it executes 2 pi angle. So angular velocity omega can be written as 2 pi by t, and t is same for the two movement of the needles. So omega is same in the two cases. Now this time, let us find out this time. For a particle which is at equal distances from the needle, and we know that wave velocity in any medium is a constant and distance also when is made same. So time period which is equal to distance per unit velocity, this time period, no, this is not time period, this is time taken. Time taken also is a constant. So in this equation you could see that omega also is same for the two needles, and time t for a equidistant point, like in this case you have point P point from S1 and S2. The two distances are same, therefore the time which is equal to distance per unit velocity, this time will be same. And you also find that a particle which is executing to and fro motion in the same phase, like these two particles, you can see they have displacement from the mean position equal. Same displacement if the particles are oscillating in the same phase. And they will have particle velocity also same. Now here I would like to tell that your wave velocity is different from particle velocity. Particle is accelerating. So if particle velocity is u, so when the phase is same, then particle velocity is same. They will have same displacement, they will have same acceleration. So the two particles oscillating in phase will have same phase, same displacement, same velocity, same acceleration, all these things. Now let us find net displacement when a particle is acted upon by two waves, two disturbances. Here in this case, so what is your path difference? First of all, let us find this. This is your path travel S1P, and this is equal to 1 wavelength, 2 wavelength. And this path difference is equal to 1 wavelength, 2 wavelength. So both the paths S1P and S2P are equal to 2 into lambda only. And when you subtract the two, you will find 0. So path difference is 0. And we know that for lambda path difference, phase difference is 2 pi. Here you have lambda path difference and a total angle of 2 pi is moved. So by unitary method, you can find that for 0 path difference, phase difference is 0. So let us take two waves with phase difference 0. When you subtract these two phases, omega t minus omega t, you will find phase difference 0. And the two waves emanating from S1 and S2, let the waves are Y1 and Y2. So Y1 can be written as A cos omega t and Y2 can be written as A cos omega t. A will be same because they are oscillating in the same fashion by the same force. Now, according to principle of superposition, you know that the resultant displacement is equal to vector sum of the two displacements. So when you add simply, not vectorially, in a simple way, you will find that the sum is equal to 2a cos omega t. So now we find for maxima and minima, as in interference pattern we find maxima and minima. So for finding intensity, maximum intensity and minimum intensity, we need one term, intensity. This intensity is equal to energy per unit time per unit area. Any intensity, light intensity, light energy per unit time per unit area, sound intensity, heat intensity, then heat energy per unit time per unit area. So this is a physical quantity, intensity, which is proportional to energy, which is related to energy. Now in a wave, this energy is related to only this amplitude part in wave, not in particle description. In wave description, your energy is related to this amplitude. And this intensity is proportional to square of amplitude. So when you will square the amplitude, you will find that intensity net, if I is equal to intensity net, then it will be proportional to 4. On squaring this, you will find 4a square. Okay. Now if you choose any one wave, then you will find that intensity I1, in this case I am taking intensity I1, is proportional to only square of a, intensity of individual wave. And when you divide 1 by 2, means net intensity due to superposition of two waves and intensity due to a single wave, then you will find that on cancelling constant terms a square, you find that intensity of the two superimposing waves at particle P is equal to 4 times the intensity due to single wave. Now this seems that there is violation of law of conservation of energy, because here two intensity joins together and becomes 1 plus 1 instead of it is 2I1, it is here 4I1. So it seems that there is violation of law of conservation of energy. But when you now see that at minima, the intensity is reduced by the same amount. So when you take average of all the intensities, all the energies, you will find that there is no violation of law of conservation of energy. So for all the points which are at a path difference 0, at a phase difference 0, you have maximum intensity. Now let us take another point where path difference is not 0. For coming to conclusion, for taking summary of all those, let me take the path difference different from 0. So here you have a wave and the path difference is 1 wavelength, 2 wavelength, means 2 lambda. In case of H2P, this is the length of path, it is equal to 1 wavelength, 2 wavelength, 3 wavelength. So path difference will be equal to 3 wavelength minus 2 wavelength, and that is equal to your lambda only. 3 lambda minus 2 lambda is equal to lambda. And you know that a phase difference of 2 pi is there for lambda path difference. Now you can write two waves, two disturbances emanating from the two sources. So a wave emanating from S1 can be written as, in terms of displacement, y1 is your displacement, is equal to a cos omega t. And the second wave can be written as, here phase difference becomes 2 pi. So disturbance from S2 has initiated a time before from when the disturbance created at S1. So the phase will be smaller because time is smaller. It has initiated in a previous time. So you will subtract a phase angle 2 pi from in second equation. Now you know that cos theta minus 2 pi also is cos theta. So again you come to the same equation. Y2 is equal to a cos omega t. Now when you use principle of superposition, the resultant displacement will be equal to the sum of displacements due to the two waves, two disturbances. Y1 plus Y2 is equal to 2a cos omega t, and again you get the resultant intensity is equal to 4 times the intensity due to a single disturbance. So in the cases when path difference del x is equal to 0, path difference is equal to lambda, and similarly if you will take more cases, 2 lambda, 3 lambda, you will have intensity 4 times the intensity due to a single wave. So here maxima is formed. Now let us take another path difference. Here you have path S1P is equal to 1 wavelength, 2 wavelength, and S2P is equal to 1 wavelength, 2 wavelength, 3 wavelength, and half wavelength. So S2P is equal to 3 plus half wavelength. Now when you find the path difference by subtracting this S1P from S2P, you will find that path difference comes equal to 3 by 2 lambda. It is an odd integral of lambda. Odd integral. 1 plus half lambda, you can also write 2 plus half lambda. You can also write 3 plus half lambda. So for this path difference, you will find a phase difference of 3 pi or 3 pi or 5 pi or anything. So now let us write the two waves. We know that for the same forces, this amplitude will be same. And here, due to different distances, we have phase difference 3 pi. So one wave from first your needle, S1, your S1P, for that, your net displacement Y1 is equal to a cos omega t, and net displacement due to second disturbance Y2 is equal to a cos omega t minus 3 pi, because phase difference here has become of 3 pi, where this disturbance has initiated in a previous time. So I have subtracted this omega t, this 3 pi from omega t. Now when you take 1 pi along with this and make it one angle theta, and you know that theta minus 2 pi is theta only. And now cos omega t minus pi is equal to minus cos omega t. So you get two equations and they are just opposite in polarity. This is plus, this is minus. So for the principle of superposition, when you add the two for finding net displacement y is equal to y1 plus y2, these two, and you will have zero displacement. So what you observe, that when you have part difference and odd integral of lambda, then you have zero displacement, so zero intensity. Now let us summarize all the results. When part difference is equal to 0, lambda to lambda, or you can say n lambda, there will be maxima, intensity will become 4 of 1 intensity. Whereas there is part difference, odd integral of lambda, that is 1 plus half lambda, 2 plus half lambda, or your n plus half lambda. This is odd integral of lambda, then intensity becomes equal to 0. So these are the cases. We can show this in diagram also. Here in this diagram, you have two waves created by two needle, and you will have maxima and minima alternately. The maxima is shown by this complete circle and minima is shown by dotted circle. So at place where two minima meets, the two minima will be in the phase. So since they are in phase and they have path difference and lambda, since they are in phase, they are going in the same direction. Okay, so they will add only. So on adding, you will find the maxima. And just now we have obtained that maxima is obtained at a path difference. This path difference is difference between S2p minus S1p is n lambda. At this path difference only you will have maxima. And why maxima? The two waves which are minima, which have same phase and the same direction, then they will add up each one's displacement, and then you will have maxima. Now for this particle, you have one wave going in upward direction, a complete cycle, and another wave due to this needle disturbance, you will have a wave going in downward direction. One is going downward direction, one is going upward effect. And then you will get a minima at that points. Here you have minima. One wave is going upward, one wave is going downward, and they will cancel each other. And we learned that minima is occurred when part difference is equal to odd integral of lambda. Means path S2p minus S1p must be equal to n plus half into lambda. So this is how alternate maxima and minima are created. And this is called interference pattern. This is called interference. So now let us take one general case. Because I have taken only a complete wavelength or half wavelength as path difference. Now let us take a general case of phase difference is equal to phi. In this two cases, when your amplitude also is same but your phase difference is phi. So as per principle of superposition, when you add the two waves, you will find that, okay, I have added here and I have taken amplitude common. Now you know that cos A plus cos B is equal to 2 cos B minus A by 2 cos B plus A by 2. So you get this. Y is equal to A2 cos phi by 2 into cos omega t plus phi by 2. So main time dependence is there on this term. Your traveling wave or your sinusoidal wave has time dependence on this term. So the remaining part can be taken as amplitude. This your A2 cos phi by 2 is amplitude. Now we know that intensity is proportional to square of amplitude. So it will become I will be proportional to 4A square cos square phi by 2. And from here also you can obtain the same result what we had obtained in the previous two results, that at angles 0, 2 pi or 4 pi, means at path difference 0, lambda, 2 lambda etc, means path difference and lambda, you will put, okay, let me put the first one value 0. So cos 0 is equal to 1 and you will obtain a maxima. I is proportional to 4A square. Similarly, when you put this phase difference, you make this phase difference as pi or 3 pi or 5 pi, you will find a minima. So these are the cases of interference. Now you can correlate the intensities of two individual waves with the intensity of the resultant one. For that we will go differently and for in mathematical calculations. So you can take any wave, sinusoidal wave, a cos wave also is sinusoidal, sine wave also is sinusoidal. So I have here taken the two waves and they are of two different amplitudes. In this case, for a general solution, I have taken two different amplitudes. So y becomes equal to a1 sine omega t plus a2 sine omega t plus 5. Here, phase angle difference is phi in a general situation. Now we will go differently. We will simplify this sine a plus b. We know that sine a plus b is equal to sine a cos b plus cos a sine b. From here, when you take common this term sine omega t from the two terms, you will get that a1 plus a2 cos phi into sine omega t plus, and a2 is multiplied in this term also, so a2 into sine phi cos omega t. Now in trigonometry, an equation which consists of a sine theta plus b sine theta is solved in this way. A is taken as a cos theta. Complete this term x is taken as a cos theta and complete this second term is taken as a sine theta. So now in this equation 1, you find that net displacement y is equal to a cos theta sine omega t plus a sine theta cos omega t. So it becomes equal to a sine omega t plus theta, as sine a plus b is equal to this much. So your intensity, net intensity, because intensity is proportional to square of amplitude, it becomes equal to square of a. Now let me find the value of a from here, from equation number small a and small b. You know that cos square theta plus sine square theta is equal to 1. So when you square the two terms and when you add, you will get a square. A square is equal to, from a and b, let me write, from a and b, a square is equal to this term square plus this term square, and then when you will simplify the a plus b kind of term, square of a plus b kind of term, a1 square plus 2a1 a2 cos phi plus a2 square cos phi and plus this square of this term, a2 square sine square phi. This will become a2 square, and finally you come at a square is equal to a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos phi. Now multiplying both sides by a constant k will not change the generality of equation. The equation will remain same. Now this is representing your amplitude, because amplitude is a constant time square of, this is okay, this is representing your intensity, because intensity is equal to a constant time square of amplitude. So in place of this, you can write net intensity due to the superposition of two waves due to the two disturbances is equal to, here your I1 plus this square of amplitude, this becomes I2 plus 2 into root under, because it is not square, so you will have to take root under I1 I2 cos phi, and this term 2 root under I1 I2 cos phi is taken as interference term. So when you take phi is equal to 0, then cos phi is equal to 1, then you will find that net intensity when phase difference is equal to 0, when path difference is equal to 0, you will find that net intensity is equal to root under first intensity due to first disturbance plus root under second intensity due to second disturbance and square of all the terms. So this is how you can correlate the net intensity due to superposition of two or more waves in terms of intensity of the two waves. Okay, I conclude. Now when you take a plane parallel to these two slates S1 and S2, to find the shape of this fringes, for any one fringe you can take path difference S2p minus S1p, and suppose you have strings in place of this path, you have strings, and you have fixed a pencil at the end of this string, and when you draw a line on the wall which is parallel to slit S1 and S2, you will find this kind of shape, and this is your hyperbola. So the fringe shape, the pattern of this fringe is in the form of hyperbola. But when you go a large distance from the sources, you will find that these fringes becomes straight.